Hey guys, welcome to my book haul. This is your girl Christina. Last year I had a goal of 30 books to read, and naturally I was playing catch up for the last few months. I didn't make it to 30. I think I made it to like 28, 27, but still that was a lot more books than I read the previous year. I'm excited to share with you guys the books I thoroughly enjoyed. There was one that I didn't like. I also want to share what I'm currently reading and what I plan on reading this year. So let's dive right in. Breast and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami is a two-parter. It was originally 2 books and in Japanese, but it has since been translated into English and it is now one big book. The first part of the book is about Natsuko. Her sister and her niece visit her in the city, and it's because her sister wants a breast augmentation. The second book, it is again from Natsuko's perspective. She is exploring motherhood and what it would be like to be a single mother via a sperm donor. It explored existential feminism, gender roles, and cultural constructs. I was recently having a conversation with a friend, and she expressed to me, the reason there aren't many female CEOs, it's not because companies won't have them. It's because women tend to have to make a choice between a family or a career. Oh, if I am a mother, am I going to be fulfilled? But the book just opened my eyes in terms of, for one, I'm not alone in thinking these things, but 2, it doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter if you want to have kids later in life or if you don't want to have them at all, or you want to be a mother. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you do what you want to do. The Song of Achilles is a whole new take on Homer's The Iliad by retelling the story of Greece's greatest hero through the eyes of his best friend, Patroclus. From the moment I read the first page, I was hooked. I am so sad I didn't read this book sooner. I'm obsessed. I'm just obsessed with Greek mythology. Over time, the friendship between Patroclus and Achilles blossoms into this love that is so endearing. I absolutely love how Miller, the author, she captures the innocence between the two. And it makes you feel like a life like this isn't worth living if you don't love someone as deeply as they have. I did not think I would like this book as much as I do, but Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I listened to it on Audible because I found out that he is narrating his story. I absolutely loved that this book wasn't a chronological story of this is what happened to me and this is how I turned out. I loved that he was just sharing funny and sad stories about his life, but always seeing the silver lining in every situation. I think he's my new favorite actor. Actually, he's always been my favorite actor, but he'll have like a stint of just working for a couple of years straight and then take a break. So I forget about him sometimes, but he's definitely up there on my list. The Best We Can Do, an illustrated memoir, is written by T. Bowie. It's actually a biography. It's about how her parents immigrated to the US as refugees from Vietnam during the war. When someone goes through something traumatic, whether that's losing a child, moving to a city, or war, if you don't deal with those traumas, then it's going to show up in other ways. Depression, anxiety, therefore it will affect your children and your children's children. The Vietnam War indirectly affected her. If you are a child of an immigrant, I recommend reading this book because I definitely felt it. When I was 17, I moved out and went to college, and it wasn't until I moved out that I had empathy for my mother. And I'm not sure exactly how it happened. It just clicked. And I think since then, I think the moment you can accept that your parents did the best they could with what they had, you can work on having a better relationship with them. Okay, I've got one book that disappointed me, and it is Sex and Vanity by Kevin Kwan. That might sound familiar, Kevin Kwan, because he wrote Crazy Rich Asian, and because he wrote that, I thought, okay, this book must be good too. Kind of a letdown because it just seemed like it was telling the same story that I've heard plenty of times in movies and in other books. It's also in that same realm of like high society in Chinese culture. I could feel the glitz and glam just like the movie Crazy Rich Asian. I really, really wanted to like this book, but you know, you can't win them all. I am currently reading When We Left Cuba by Chanel Cleaton. That might sound familiar because earlier this year I read Next Year in Havana by the same author. And so these two books are still about the Perez family. This family had to uproot their family, their lives, their business to the US because they were escaping Cuba's dictator, Fidel Castro. I'm only 20% in and I'm already loving the book. Now I want to share with you what I plan on reading this year. First, it is The Binding by Bridget Collins, which is a fantasy. I haven't read a fantasy in, I feel like, years. It's been a long time. This part kind of got me excited. Books are dangerous things in Collins' alternate universe, a place vaguely reminiscent of the 19th century England. It's a world in which people visit bookbinders to rid themselves of painful or treacherous memories. Once their stories have been told and are bound between the pages of a book, the slate is wiped clean, and their memories lose the power to hurt or haunt them. You know, that sounds pretty cool. The funny thing is I have plans to read these books, but sometimes something else catches my attention and then I read that, and therefore those books end up staying on my wish list. The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Now, this is about a set of identical twins. They're Black and they grew up in a southern town and they ran away at the age of 16. Now, one of them comes back as an adult to that same town and raises her daughter, and then the other twin gets married to a white guy and is actually sometimes mistaken for a white person. So it's interesting that these two women who had very similar upbringings have very contrasting outcomes. Even though I didn't complete my 30 book goal last year, I was close. I was like 1 or 2 books off, but I'm gonna keep setting it until I make it. I hope this inspires you guys to add these books to your list and keep on reading. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!